Imagine building an empire from nothing. You start with your hands, with dirt, with war. You become a millionaire. You buy a Ferrari. And then, the man who built it, Enzo Ferrari himself, looks at you and says, "You are a farmer. You don't know anything about sports cars. Stick to your tractors." Most men would have walked away. Ferruccio Lamborghini did not walk away. He went home and decided to build something better. This is the story of how one insult changed the entire automotive world forever. It is 1916, a small rural town in northern Italy, Renazzo di Cento, a place filled with vineyards, dusty fields, and hard-working families. Ferruccio Lamborghini is born into a farming household. No luxury, no connections, no shortcuts. His parents made wine for a living. They expected him to follow the same path. But Ferruccio was different. While others worked in the fields, he was taking machines apart, just to understand how they worked. Engines fascinated him. Metal fascinated him. Perfection fascinated him. And that curiosity would change everything. He studied mechanics at a technical institute, then trained under a master blacksmith, learning welding, ironwork, precision. But he wanted more. He wanted to work with real machines, real power, real engineering. So he pushed his way into a factory working on military vehicles. Not because he was invited, but because he refused to be ignored. At 18, World War II began to consume Europe. Ferruccio was drafted into the Italian Air Force. He was sent to Rhodes Island, not as a pilot, but as a mechanic, fixing broken machines, keeping vehicles alive under extreme pressure. In war, machines fail constantly, and the man who can fix them becomes invaluable. Ferruccio became that man. When Italy surrendered, the Germans took over. Then later, the Allied forces captured the area. Ferruccio himself became a prisoner. But even as a prisoner, his skills made him useful. They put him to work repairing vehicles. Even in captivity, he was building his future. When he finally returned to Italy, everything was destroyed. The country was broken, factories gone, economy shattered. People had nothing. But Ferruccio saw something others did not: opportunity. Italy needed to rebuild. Farmers needed machines, and Ferruccio understood machines better than anyone. One day, his father asked him for a tractor. That simple request sparked an idea. Ferruccio began collecting leftover military equipment, broken engines, scrap parts, war machines, and he turned them into working tractors. Not expensive ones, affordable ones, reliable ones. He even modified engines to run on cheap diesel instead of expensive fuel. And suddenly, farmers across Italy wanted them. In 1948, he officially founded Lamborghini Trattori, and the business exploded. Within a few years, he became one of the largest tractor manufacturers in Italy. Ferruccio Lamborghini was now a millionaire. Self-made, respected, powerful. But money was never enough. He wanted perfection. He wanted speed. He wanted the best cars in the world. So he started buying them: Jaguar, Mercedes, Maserati, and of course, Ferrari, the ultimate symbol of success. But something was wrong. His Ferrari 250 GT kept breaking. The clutch failed again, and again, and again. This wasn't normal. Ferruccio opened the car, inspected it, and realized something shocking. The clutch inside his Ferrari was almost identical to the one used in his tractors. The same part that cost him a fraction of the price. He was furious. Not just because it broke, but because it wasn't perfect. And Ferruccio Lamborghini hated imperfection. So he did something bold. He went to Maranello, to Ferrari, to speak directly with Enzo Ferrari. One man to another, builder to builder. But Enzo Ferrari didn't see him that way. He saw a farmer, a tractor maker, someone beneath him, and he dismissed him, coldly. "You are a farmer. You don't understand sports cars." That moment changed everything. Ferruccio didn't argue. He didn't shout. He didn't beg. He went home, in silence. But inside, something had ignited. Anger, pride, obsession. He made a decision. If Ferrari wouldn't build the perfect car, he would. In 1963, just 1 year later, he founded Automobili Lamborghini, not as a hobby, not as an experiment, as a direct challenge. His factory was built just kilometers away from Ferrari. That was not a coincidence. That was a message. He hired the best engineers in Italy, many of them former Ferrari employees, the same minds that built Ferrari's legendary machines. And within months, they built something extraordinary. The Lamborghini 350 GT, a refined, powerful, beautiful Grand Tourer. The world noticed. But Lamborghini wasn't finished, not even close. Because in 1966, everything changed. The Miura arrived. Low, wide, aggressive. Unlike anything the world had ever seen. A V12 engine placed in the middle. A design that would define supercars forever. The world stood still, then exploded with excitement. The Miura wasn't just fast, it was art. It was rebellion. It was proof that Lamborghini wasn't just competing with Ferrari, it was redefining the game. Soon came more legends. The Countach. Sharp, futuristic, impossible. A car that looked like it came from another world. Lamborghini became a symbol of rebellion. While Ferrari represented tradition, Lamborghini became the car of those who refused to follow rules. But success never comes without a price. In the 1970s, crisis hit. A massive tractor deal collapsed. The oil crisis shook the entire world. Fuel prices exploded. The market changed overnight. Ferruccio was forced to sell his companies, piece by piece, until he walked away completely. He retired quietly, to a vineyard, far from factories, far from engines, far from the world he had changed forever. But the company he built did not die. It struggled, collapsed, changed owners, again and again, until finally, Audi took control, and rebuilt Lamborghini into what it is today, a global icon. A symbol of power, luxury, rebellion. From the Miura to the Countach to the Aventador to the modern Revuelto, all born from one moment, one insult, one man who refused to accept his place. Ferruccio Lamborghini, a farmer's son, a mechanic, a prisoner of war, who turned anger into an empire, and proved to the world that greatness does not ask for permission, it takes it. Every great empire in history begins with a moment. Not money, not power, not connections. A moment. A decision. A refusal. Ferruccio Lamborghini was told he was just a farmer, just a man who should stay in his place. But he refused to accept that. He didn't argue, he didn't beg, he didn't wait for permission. He went home and built something the world could not ignore. And in doing so, he didn't just create a car. He created a legacy, a symbol of rebellion, of ambition, of what happens when a man decides that no is not the end of his story. Today, every Lamborghini you see, every engine that shakes the ground, every machine that turns heads, carries that same message. You don't need permission to be great. You don't need approval to build something powerful. All you need is the courage to begin. So the next time someone tells you, you can't, remember this story. Because the difference between a farmer and a legend is one decision, one moment, one refusal. If you want more stories like this, stories of power, obsession, and empires built from nothing, subscribe to Billion Stories, because this is just the beginning. And trust me, the next story will be even bigger.